Thank you so much, Senator Kelly Ayotte, joining us from New Hampshire today.
Thanks, Andrea.
And joining me here at Hofstra University to talk about all of this and the president's strategy going forward toward this evening is Robert Gibbs, senior advisor to the Obama campaign, and of course the president's former press secretary. We've got a windy, noisy day here, but it's great.
My first bit of advice is always travel with your own crowd. It's great.
Yeah, I brought them along just for you. But seriously, if you can respond, I know you're not part of the intelligence circle at this stage, but as an advisor, you know how it is, how it works inside.
Sure.
And you've been privy to the highest level of national security. What do you say to Senator Ayotte and to Lindsey Graham and to other senators who say that the president was either not informed or covering up?
I will say this, the shamelessness of that interview is really remarkable. The notion that anybody wants to find out what happened more in Benghazi than Barack Obama. We have to figure out what happened, and we have to make sure it never happens again. But the lengths to which so many people in the Republican Party are going to play politics with this issue, I think is startling. Ambassador Stevens' own father said this shouldn't be a political issue. This should be investigated. We should figure out what's going on. This president and this administration have passed on the information that they've had when they've had it to the American people. It's not been deceptive, not been misleading in any way, shape, or form.
Let's talk about tonight and the debate. This is a town hall format, as you know very well. You helped prepare Barack Obama for that format 4 years ago. What is the bigger challenge now tonight, given his acknowledged weak performance in Denver? How does he get aggressive enough to tackle Mitt Romney and, show his forcefulness, show his leadership qualities, and show exactly how he would lead the country at the same time as dealing directly with the concerns of the people in front of him?
Well, I think some of what Chris said is absolutely true. You've got undecided voters standing in front of you who are asking you questions not as a journalistic moderator, but as somebody living that cause and that concern. So I think first and foremost, you want to connect directly with that voter and talk to them, and I know the president will, about what we've done and where we've come from, but most importantly, where he sees taking this country over the course of the next 4 years. I have no doubt, though, in the midst of that, we'll get into an opportunity to discuss the choice that's at hand and the very different visions about building this economy from the middle out, like the president wants to, or showering the very rich with tax breaks and tax cuts and hoping somehow that lifts the middle class. We know that doesn't work because we tried it. I think the president will first and foremost look to speak directly to those undecided voters and make sure they understand what he wants to do to continue moving this economy forward.
Presumably he's been told not to look down at his notes so much, to worry about that split screen.
Well, no podiums tonight, so that's probably a good thing, right?
The other concern that you all have to have as his supporters, that he has to have, is the narrowing of the polls. We see a narrowing in Pennsylvania. We see trouble in Florida, narrowing in Ohio of his previous lead, New Hampshire tied, and women are not as strongly supportive of Barack Obama in some of these polls.
Well, look, let's be clear. The Gallup poll yesterday is the first and only poll that I know of that I've seen in any national or battleground place that shows women tied. I don't think that's the case. Look, there's a natural tightening in this race, and one that we expected. We got 53% of the vote 4 years ago. They don't call them battleground states for nothing. But look, I think we're in a strong position because first and foremost, the case that this president has to press to build this economy stronger, to bring back manufacturing jobs, send more exports overseas, strengthen our economy, that's a better case. It's a better case against Mitt Romney. I think you'll hear him talk directly about that tonight.
And in the middle of this windstorm, some good news for you guys just came in from the Supreme Court. They declined to reverse decisions in Ohio, which would have cut back on early voting in some counties. So Elena Kagan had ruled, now the full court declined to take it up. So Ohio will be able to continue early voting, which is something that you've been trying to bank.
Important for Ohio, and I think important for this country. Look, we don't suffer in this political process from too few people voting. I think it's a great news that there'll be, we have that extended early voting period for those in Ohio, for those in the military.